Welcome to another guitar business show here with me, David Hart. I've got a very, very special guest today. In this case, I've brought in a guy named James Brown. He's an absolute marketing guru. He's not a guitar teacher, but I wanted to bring him in to give you guys a different perspective. We're all in business, and I was a student of James's, and he's what he knows and his knowledge and the depth of his knowledge. It was very eye-opening for me and many others, and I think it's something that as guitar teachers, it's very easy to get stuck in our world and just listen to ourselves and listen to other guitar teachers and not step out of that world. So what we want to do today is really make the most of James, because he doesn't come cheap. He's a very sought-after guy, and so getting him here for an hour, I feel very lucky to have him here. He's actually coming from Japan. We're live from northern Japan. So I'll just, before I bring you in, James, I'm just going to read a bit of your bio so people have got a bit of an idea about who you are. So James Brown has emerged onto the scene as one of the ultimate marketing and business strategy gurus. He's a graduate and former lecturer of the Australian College of Natural Medicine and College of Traditional Healing Arts, specialising in the arts of traditional Chinese medicine. So that's sort of James's initial academic background. But in terms of his marketing and business background, which is probably as extensive, if not more, James has spent the better part of 17 years helping individuals find better personal and financial health. James Brown became familiar with Jay Abraham. Now, those guys who follow me know that I'm a big fan of Jay's. I also was a student of Jay's some years ago, and here's Jay Abraham. If you don't know him, check him out. And James was there before me. James got in early with Jay. He's one of his early students, so he really knows his philosophies well. But Jay's, as put here by James, his philosophy is basically how to maximize results with minimum effort, what I would call the 80-20. And this was back in 1984 when he first started studying with Jay. James notes that it was the seminar that became his stepping stone for his own ventures into the world of internet and business marketing. In 1997, James took the ultimate plunge and started a home-based business in the bedroom, which I'm sure many of you can relate to, of his small apartment. Within 12 months, it had outgrown his bedroom and occupied an office with over a dozen staff. I can relate to that as well, James. Discovering that most of his time ended up dealing with staff and office dramas, he returned to the simple pleasure of running a home-based business, which is a great move if you can do it. Since 2002, James has worked in many varied industries, companies, and helping small business owners, entrepreneurs, to maximize their profits with all their online endeavors. So James is primarily focusing on online these days, but we'll jump into that in a minute. He regularly travels, consults, and teaches in the UK, US, Canada, Panama, and Japan. So you'll have to see James talking at seminars on business and marketing, and especially online marketing. So without any more introduction, James, we're going to jump in. Thank you so much for joining us. You're right now, where are you? You're in Japan, correct?
I am, buddy. I'm up in Yamagata Prefecture in northern Japan.
Okay, so you're not far from the famed Fukushima situation, is that right? You're not too far from there?
It's probably a good 250 kilometers away, sort of thing. I think, okay. Tokyo is closer to it than I am at the moment. I'm up in a tiny little ski village resort and onsen and sort of escape area for a lot of people from southern Japan. Wow. In a region, Mount Zhao is the region there.
Mount Zhao. Well, as you know, I've spent a lot of time in Japan as well, and I've even spent some time with you in Japan.
Yes.
During one of your amazing seminars. Were you there during the tsunami in the big tsunami back in 2000? What was it? 2011.
2011, yeah, March. Yep. 2011. I was in Tokyo actually at the time when it all went down. I was in a hotel room preparing to do one of the very first meetups that I organized here in Japan for the netpreneur community here in Japan.
Wow.
And Yeah, it was. I'd come down from northern Japan, and it was the most interesting few days, with all that happened, and then trying to get back home at the time. It was crazy.
It was phenomenal. Yeah, I was there in Japan at the same time, but I was down in Osaka, Kyoto at that time. I was on a train actually, so I didn't feel anything. But apparently, people in Kyoto could even feel it. It was that massive, the actual earthquake. So yeah, and I remember it was just pandemonium. People trying to get out of Japan. You couldn't get a flight. All the lines for the airlines were fully, occupied, so you couldn't get through and even make a booking if you wanted to. But yeah, it was pretty, almost surreal is how I would have put it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, it was very interesting time.
Yep. So let me ask you some questions. First thing that I like to do, that I ask everybody, is to describe yourself in 3 words. So what, I know that you probably need 100 words, but what are 3 words that you would say that start to describe you, if nothing else?
Well, first I like to think of myself as like 3 words, a bloody good bloke. That's
yeah, I'd agree with that.
3 words. I'm kidding.
Down to earth.
3 down. Yeah, I mean 3 words. Well, in marketing and business circles, lead generation specialist is what I do.
Great. Yeah.
So that's the 3 words there. But yeah, we could go on and on, couldn't we, about how we like to describe ourselves?
We could, and other people might not agree, but we have our own descriptions of ourselves. And I think what we're going to do here, and I'm going to interpret some of this because a lot of the guys, I don't want to talk down to anyone, but a lot of the guys that may be watching this may not know of certain terms. So, a lead generation specialist. What's a lead generation specialist?
Well, basically, every business, it doesn't matter whether you're on the street corner, you're a baker or a butcher, or you're lucky enough to have a website and you completely work, via your website. You need to have some form or way to make your telephone call each day, like telephone calls coming in or emails coming in. So that's what I help facilitate, make happen. I make a business owner's telephone ring, or their email inbox fill up with prospective, clients, customers, whatever you like to call your end user. I primarily specialize around that. So getting telephones to ring, that's my job.
Yeah, and without that, you may as well close the doors, right?
That's it, man. That's the essential. You really don't need a website. There's so many things that people say that they need, but really you just need the ability to take a phone call, answer email, and there's so many places that you can advertise and have your message there. And as long as you answer the phone well, you've got a great call to action. Away you go, man. Away you go.
The world ran for many years without the internet, didn't it? Without websites.
Totally, man. Totally. It sure did. It sure did.
Well and truly happening before the internet came along. But even, I know guys that run businesses off, Facebook pages or Instagram, or again, don't have websites. It's just a matter, people got to get to you, right? As long as they can get to you.
That's it, man. That's it. And so many people, the big trouble I see is a lot of people starting businesses, they hold off starting the business because they don't have a website or some other excuse, they have like that. And or it's an excuse not to do marketing, like they use it as an excuse. They're doing something, and then they use it as an excuse why they shouldn't be marketing. Oh, I don't have a website. Well, you don't need one. You can relax, sit back, save your money. Let's work out how we can make your phone ring.
Exactly, and I use this as an example, right? I tell guys do YouTube videos, right? Just put some videos up there, let people see who you are, talk about what you do, and this is nothing fancy. We're just doing YouTube live here. There's no production behind this, and bang, it's up and going. Yeah,
just
great.
Do it.
Don't procrastinate. Fantastic. So when did you start this business? I know you had the previous business, but the one that you got right now, Netrepreneur, is that the title we're going by for this current business?
The Netpreneur Summit is basically something a few buddies we put together. Just like I was saying before, I started running these meetups because I was seeing so many business owners through to people that want to start their own internet sort of action or empire, or just market better online for their regular business. So much of that I was seeing just piles and piles and piles of rubbish and misinformation and that. So it's sort of an education branch of what we do. Otherwise, I have, like a lot of entrepreneurs, a few irons in the fire. But primarily, I'm a consultant, and I work with everything from gyms to people that have got SaaS operations, software as a service. They're selling some type of accounting system or marketing system or content curation system online.
Yep.
So, from regular brick and mortar businesses on the street, but most of my clients are, well, I'd say 90% of them, 95% are US based businesses and companies. I do everything via the internet, no matter where I am in the world, sort of at whatever stage. I, like you and I now, chatting between the Gold Coast and Japan.
Yep.
That's
so
the
easy
magic.
now.
It is.
So easy.
It is. But again, people come to me because they want more leads. Basically, that's their problem. That's their issue, and that's what we specialize in doing. We can help people build sites and that, but I find that stuff, frustrating because everybody's a website design expert. When they're paying for it and that, they don't want to listen, and you end up having to make all the changes to satisfy the client to get paid, and you end up building something that 9 times out of 10 it really isn't a lead generating website. So we focus on just making the phone ring, and we track the call, and we deliver that traffic via various different means. But that's all we're interested in. And we'll also help the business owner or their front desk or their office manager best answer the telephone as well, because that's the other thing. If you're working from home, you can have kids running in and screaming, or other crazy shenanigans, or if you're a small business owner, out on the street, or in a business yourself, with a small studio or something, it could be crazy with people standing there, waiting at a desk or a counter, and then you got the phone ringing. And so we help business owners, maximize that time. But we're really only interested in delivering email leads, delivering phone calls, because that's the core of the of your business. Mark Cuban has this famous saying, sales cures everything. And it's just so true. Like, if you've got people signing up for your classes or whatever it is that you do, you'll solve the problems. Be it you got to get another teacher to help you, part-time, and you've got to split some cash with them and revenue share, whatever issues it is, answering telephones, they can be solved. You're making money. Money can solve problems. It's a tool. That's what it's all about.
Well, it's like cash to a business, or really cash to anybody, is oxygen, isn't it? And if you run out of oxygen, but you're dead in the water to start with. But if you've got a good supply of oxygen, then you can kind of relax and work out the problems as you go.
Totally.
And I think I totally agree. I think a lot of people forget that, and I don't know how many times I hear, people in business say, "Oh, I'm not in it for the money. I don't care about the money." Well, there's your problem.
Totally.
Until you actually, fess up, and because to me, it's almost dishonest to say that you don't care about the money. Of course, you care about the money.
Totally.
it's not about, we're not talking about greed here. We're just talking about taking care of business. So yeah, fantastic.
Exactly.
So on because obviously, I know a lot about Jay, as you do. And so do you use some of his concepts now in your business? So when you consult with people, are you looking to leverage their current assets? Is that an approach you use, or how do you go about it?
Totally. Well, the first thing that Jay taught me was developing a good, unique selling proposition, or some people call it a value proposition. And that is
so can you explain what that is in your own words?
Well, I like to think of it as a 60-second elevator pitch. Like, you asked me in 3 words, what do I do? 3 words, you may not be able to do it, but I'm a lead generation specialist that helps businesses get more leads, or whatever it is. But make your phone ring. I make telephones ring. Do you want more phone calls? Do you want more people? So that's sparking interest. Business owners are going to say to me, yes, I want more phone calls. You want more people interested. So that's, a unique selling sort of style proposition that I can use. As a guitar teacher, well, you need to have a look at what potential unique talents and skills. Maybe you specialize in something, you're more a rhythm guitar person. I don't know the ins and outs of the guitar biz, but maybe you're more a heavy metal sort of dude, or that, So I would position in the beginning. I always say in the beginning, you're better off positioning yourself a certain way. And look, you don't want to be that way for the rest of your life. We all know that. We all grow and change in that. Yeah. But what it helps you do is then speak to a market. I'm interested in helping certain small business owners, and I could redefine my unique selling proposition even further. I'm looking to work with business owners that do $500,000 to $1 million in turnover. I could really fine tune my unique selling proposition. So a guitar teacher could be saying, look, I'm wanting to work with teenagers between the ages of 15 and 18 that want to start their own rock band and be, a lead guitarist or a bass guitarist. You know what I mean?
Beautiful. So beautiful.
And that's a marketplace.
Just what you said then is better than 90% of what guitar teachers actually say. Yeah, that made more sense to me than what I see on 90% of guitar teacher websites, which make no sense most of the time.
They don't, man. And it's not just guitar teachers that, we're not picking on guitar teachers. It's a lot of business owners that make this mistake. So that's the first thing I like to work. If I'm brought in to do marketing consulting, and not just deliver leads, I don't really care about anything else except really nailing out that unique proposition, that unique selling proposition in the beginning. And sometimes it can take a business owner a few months or 6 months or even a year of playing around with that. But I've seen then such tremendous growth. In my own example, when I first put this to use, when I had my acupuncture clinic, I used to be every man and his dog's, acupuncturist, or natural therapist. Oh, you need help with this. Oh, you need help with that. The moment I decided to focus on helping people with pain relief and specializing around that, a few things like lower back pain, knee pain, like specializing in that, I went from my mom and dad and my brother and sister as clients sort of thing to seeing 80 clients in a week. It's nuts once you start. And for some people, and then for me at that time, it seemed very counterintuitive. Like, why do I want to specialize in something? I can help everybody. I'm here to help everyone. Everybody should be learning the guitar, right? And they should. It is a fantastic instrument to learn and fun.
But not everyone should be learning from you or you or you.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know what you're saying. And one of the, because I obviously know quite a few of your clients too, because I've been to your seminars and I I learn an enormous amount from you. And that's the thing that they say about you, is that it's really helped them to clarify who they're serving, rather than trying to serve everybody. Because we just automatically think, so the more people that we serve, then the more money we're going to make. But it actually, the more people you try and serve, the less interested people are in you, because
and the less you'll make.
Yeah, I use the restaurant analogy, right? Do you want to go to a restaurant that sells Japanese food, or do you want to go to a restaurant that says Asian food? Like, seriously,
Totally.
you'll find the one that specializes in whatever it is you want to eat.
If you feel like having Chinese tonight, you go into a good Chinese restaurant. Exactly. You don't want to pick the one that's serving up anything and everything. And and I think that's really, really at the heart of Jay. That really is his heart. Like the core message, and if you get that, everything else that he teaches, because falls into place then. So many people try and jump in other areas of his teachings and that, and I've done it. Look, I've made these mistakes a million times myself, and get my butt regularly kicked in thinking, or letting my brain think that you've got to do something complicated, or if it's not fancy and flashy and cocky, sort of stuff, it's not going to work. Yet it's the simple things that work, because got to remember that as human beings, we're bombed by so many messages every day, and then we've got our families and friends and everybody else wanting our time and attention. So if you can get that unique selling proposition, or that unique value proposition, and it can be something, like I guarantee to teach you the guitar and have you playing the guitar in 30 days or less, and it's down to friends and family. That's a great value proposition. Or if I don't do it in 30 days or less, I'll give you your money back. Wow. Like now, that's if you're going to go general. If you're going to go general, and sort of say you're a guitar teacher like that, I'd have that sort of value proposition.
Well, even that's quite specific, because you're catering for the beginner. Yeah, you sort of say, it's I'm going to take you from zero in 30 days. I'm going to take you from zero to being able to play, let's say, a few songs,
or even just one song. People would be blown away. I'd be blown away if I could play one song and sit down and that's.
Well, I had on that point, I had the pleasure of interviewing a few weeks ago the guy. His name's Andy Crowley, or Andy Guitar as he's known, and he's got the highest viewed YouTube video for learning guitar online, and he's had 14 million views, right, for this one video. And all he did is he said, and you could see the way he went through the process. He just narrowed to the point where he got this ideal kind of video idea that just hit the target markets, straight between the eyes. And basically what it was is learn 10 songs using just 2 chords. So, and I know that because I had a blog. My best blog ever was 3-chord songs. Play a bunch of songs with 3 chords. And he's taken that one step further, two chords. Here's 10 songs you can play with just 2 chords. So people go, great, that's it, just 2 chords. That's all I need. Show me how it's done. And so brilliant. Yeah. I mean, he's a great deliverer as well. It's not just that, but he got the right idea. He had to bring the package together, but it's exactly as you say, laser focus. Just come down on one thing, focus on that, and be the best at that. If you're not the best, why do it, right?
Well, that's Jay's next point. Be the preeminent. He likes to use the word preeminent, and we can say what you just said. Be the best. Jay likes to use this word preeminent and preeminence, sort of theory that he has, and it works. But you've got to have the unique selling proposition. Without the unique selling proposition, you're not going to get, the preeminent part. Being the best teacher or. And look, it's not so much best in like other guitar teachers, and this is the other thing. Like we judge ourselves amongst our peers. It's our clients that we need to judge ourselves amongst. You know what I mean? Like, are they getting the attention? Yeah, like heck, we'd all love to learn guitar from Eric fucking Clapton, right? Who wouldn't? But we can't. That's reality, right? Exactly. Or Dave Gilmour or whoever, you know what I mean? We want the gurus, and we'll never be that person, but that doesn't mean you can't be the best damn guitar teacher right here and now for your people in your community, your local city, your region. And that's a hard thing for a lot of business owners, because we judge ourselves amongst, you know, these superstars and then, you know, other well-known people, and, you know, all that matters at the end of the day, and where you need to come back to constantly is, you know, your students.
Well,
are they getting their value?
You kind of, you know, we can relate to this as guitar players, because if we think about Eric Clapton, his nickname, his signature was Slow Hand, right? So
Okay.
yeah, he didn't try and compete with the speed players.
Right.
And early on, he was called a guitar god, right? So he was
like the Vinnie Vincents.
Well, yeah. Well, in the case of, you know, if you go back to the 50s, I guess it was, you know, Hendrix was, he went to the UK, and he was introduced to Clapton, who at that time was considered the ultimate guitar player. And so for Hendrix, meeting Clapton at that point was a kind of a special moment, but Hendrix wasn't trying to be Clapton, right? But if anything, he was, but he was also, as the same with you. You get influence from Jay Abraham. I do. I get, you know, Tony Robbins, different people. We take our kind of ideas, but we come up with our own brew, so to speak, right? We take the elements, and if you look at someone like Hendrix, he took from everybody. Like, he played with Little Richard. He you know, he admired Elvis. He you know, played with all these people, but he actually was a big Dylan fan. Bob Dylan fan. You know, if you listen to Bob Dylan music and listen to Hendrix, you think they're nothing alike. But he loved Dylan, and that's why he did a couple of his songs, all on the Watchtower, and he dressed up. You know, apparently his hat came from Dylan and all this stuff. So yeah, so I know exactly what you're saying. And in the music business, so people can, I'm just kind of building a bridge here relating to what you're saying. As musicians, each of these musicians has a unique selling point. Stevie Ray Vaughan, who took many things from Hendrix. A lot of his sort of elements came from Hendrix. He didn't try and be Hendrix per se. He was a Texan blues guitarist, his own sound, and that's why Stevie Ray Vaughan became so successful in his own right. So you don't want to be the next Hendrix. I don't want to be Jimi Hendrix, because there's already been a Jimi Hendrix. We don't need another one. But I'm going to take the elements of his success and try and you know, adopt some of them. So and as you say, each one of them has a unique selling point. If I'm a clone of one of those guys, that doesn't give me a unique selling point. It doesn't make any difference.
Totally.
Yeah. Cool.
Totally. That's some great analogies there, Dave. And I think, you know, being the best guitar teacher on the Gold Coast, or whatever your city, Los Angeles, or if it's a big city like LA or region, that's nothing to be ashamed of or embarrassed of, or that, you know. I think that's something to be incredibly proud of, and to have students out there raving and loving you. There's no better feeling, and that's why, I mean, I prefer working with small business owners. You know, I turn down a lot of corporate stuff. I'm just not interested. I love small business owners, and it doesn't matter what business they're in, from fitness gyms, coaches, teachers, you know, through to accountants, lawyers, doctors, dentists, chiropractors. You know, they're the real lifeblood of communities, and do great things inside communities, from employing people through to helping, you know, make those communities better places. And they're the real fabric. Forget everything else. You know, everyone else, corporate, just comes along and pillages and takes and you know, it doesn't care. You know, it's the local community, local business, and local business owners that really, you know, make the world a better place, make communities better, make towns better, make regions better. So I think, you know, you should be very proud, you know, and look, you know, that unique selling proposition, it takes time. It won't come easy. A few tips.
So what like, just to help the guys who are watching this, like, my unique selling proposition has evolved, I will say. You know, I started off by saying I help guitar teachers earn more and work less.
Yes.
And so then I sort of evolved that more to be a little bit more specific about to help them earn $100,000 a year or more. So
Beautiful.
to get them to that mark, because I know that most of them, and I'm talking, the great majority of them, do not earn $100,000. Most of them are earning more like 50,000 or less,
Yes.
and they're often working a lot of hours to do that. So by setting a specific target, say, well, I help guitar teachers earn $100,000 a year, and then if you want to add to that, which is I add that element of how. So what
Yes.
do I do, and then how? So what I do is 100,000 a year, and how I do that is by helping them to find, to teach, and to keep students. So
Nice.
there's kind of three elements. So how would you help, like if someone wanted to sort of develop their own?
Exactly that way. Exactly that way. So that's a brilliant breakdown of your unique selling proposition, and that's what people need to model it around. So you had the big picture of helping guitar teachers want to earn 100K a year. All right. So you want to help people play guitar. All right. Remember the earlier one I said, like in 30 days or less, you'll learn so many songs. That's one thing. Or if you're specialized in helping, I know the very popular school, because I got to meet one of the guys. I just cannot remember his name. The last time I was in LA, and he's with the hard rock schools or something like that.
Okay.
And he specializes in, he was a drum teacher, and he played in a heap of bands and stuff like that, but he specializes in a style and looking after a particular drumming student that wants to learn a particular style. So again, coming back to that, if you're a guitar teacher that's going to help more with classical guitar, be proud and loud and say it. If you're there and wanting to help a certain other group, name it, get it in there so that they understand it and they see it. And it will help you with, if you're doing Facebook advertising or you're doing Google AdWords advertising, it will help with your targeting as well. Because if your unique selling proposition is that, there's no use advertising the 60-year-old ladies, right? And you're teaching teenage kids how to play lead guitar or bass guitar ready for a band, right? So it's kind of in your mind then when you start looking at, when I place my advertisements, where am I going to get my best bang for buck to target that person? So the spin-offs, are tremendous, and the preeminence we spoke about, and then there's maximum results from minimum efforts. Now people always think minimum efforts is like sitting around picking your nose, scratching yourself sort of thing to get these maximum results and that. But there's this minimum effort or minimum deal is like, if you target correctly with your advertising, you're not going to be doing such a broad spread of advertising, and then that way, your advertised spend is going to come down. I know, like, a guitar teacher should not spend more than $5 or $10 a day on Facebook advertising, and they should be able to spend that in their local community, targeting people, and be getting 1 to 3 phone calls a day from their Facebook advertising if they're doing it correctly. And then you can do also things like Google pay per call, which is one of the things we use a lot. Pay per click, you can pay $20, $30 or $40 per click, and you often need 4 or 5 clicks, 4 or 5 different people clicking before you get that one phone call. So it's actually costing you about $100. Whereas if you choose pay per call, you can actually get it down to, like, pay per call super cheap. I don't know how long it's going to stay this way because it's still an unknown sort of resource.
Right. How long's that been around? Because I wasn't even aware of it myself.
Last couple of years, probably last year or two. Google's got it, Bing's got it. Bing's very good as well for pay per call. So instead of a click, you're getting a phone call. Someone is calling you.
So you're paying $10 a call or $20 a call.
You should be probably even paying less if you're managing it yourself and doing it yourself. You'd probably be getting them anywhere from $1.50 to $5 a call, maybe at the worst $10 a call.
Right, right.
Mm.
Wow. Well, that's definitely something you got to look into. So Google pay by
Pay per
call,
call.
pay
Yeah.
per call. Okay, all right.
You'll see it in the features section of your AdWords advertising. You can choose it. It's a little tricky to get going and figured out. There's probably
Yep.
some courses around and that, but it's something we could spend a lot of time on running over. But that's what we do for a lot of businesses, and that's all we're interested in is that. And
So I was
Bing's
just
got
going
it.
to ask you on that.
Yes.
You've got a seminar coming up or a program that
No.
guys could no. So
No.
what
Nothing.
how would someone do something with you if they wanted to?
Well, what I was going to do is offer, any of your G4, it's only for your guitar people. They've got to
Yep.
be part of your school, buddy, was offer them a free month of
Mm-hmm.
access to Small Business Accelerator Lab.
Okay.
And
Yep.
inside that training area, there's actually information on how to get their USP sorted out, how to
Yep.
create a marketing roadmap, and also my contact details are in there. And they can get in contact with me directly, and we can sort things out for them.
Excellent.
But I that membership program and training program in there is jam packed with marketing advice. It's
Yep.
huge. I'll get
Brilliant.
you hooked up with access to it as well. I'm not sure if you already do, but if not,
I've
I'll get you hooked up to it,
Yeah,
Dave, so
let
you
me
can
know.
check it
I've
out.
had other stuff of yours because we haven't spoken in the last 6 months or something. But yeah, if you send me some more stuff, then I'll definitely check it out because I know it's
That
all
way you can
quality. Yeah, I can see what it's all about.
screenshot it and share it with the group. And I'm happy to give away a free month to any of your people. And
Thank you. It's
the
brilliant.
the first thing that I do with any of my clients is get them to do the marketing roadmap that's in there. It's really awesome at helping clarify things and get your USP sorted out. So inside of there's that. And then before you do any advertising, before you spend any more money or waste anything further, get those things
In
first sorted,
place. Yep.
because
Yep.
then you can go out there and really laser beam target. You can get incredible value for a few $100s a month.
Yeah.
You truly can. And look, even if you spend $500 a month on your advertising, and then you've got to pay another $500 a month to get somebody to help you manage it, you're better off spending $1,000 that way and getting the best result possible. You will get
Absolutely.
great calls, you'll get great results, and rather than wasting and messing around trying to learn something. But I know
Well,
what it's like in the beginning.
one of the things with that, which I was going to say is, and this is part of the whole networking thing, which we do, is that you gather data, and that's where you are. You're specializing in what you do, so you're able to see across industries. You're able to see trends that are working, trends that aren't working, trends that are changing, and I think that's one of the. I do that within what I do because I'm working with 50 plus teachers all at the same time in different parts of the world. I can see.
Yes.
Quicker and faster. Plus, that's what I do. I'm not where these guys are mostly teaching and spending, 10% of their time on actual marketing. I'm spending
Yes.
most of my time on learning, improving the back end. And if you're specializing on getting calls, then it's better to what you would do with $100 is probably 10 times better than what they would do with $100.
Totally.
So it's worth paying the extra.
We've wasted and lost and all that sort of stuff, and gone through all the dramas and hair pulling and that sort of stuff, figuring it out.
Yep.
And we do a lot with SEO because people know that business, but we sort of do a hybrid version of it. We start working on somebody's SEO because when a business owner comes to us and they say, I want SEO for my business, I don't try and talk them out of it. They understand it, they know it, they want it. It's one of those marketing terms that's become known now, if you know what I mean, and business owners want it.
Yep.
But what we start
Yep.
straight away doing is getting pay-per-call action happening behind the scenes. So we're doing a hybrid approach. Yes, we help them build their online brand and their identity online, but we also then start getting their phone ringing.
Yeah,
and
cool.
we put a little call whisper message in there, and it says, "Hey, it's James from, XYZ. I got a fresh hot, prospect here wanting to get a guitar lesson from you. Get ready," and boom, flicks them straight over, and you're with a live person. "Hi, this is Johnny. I want to get a guitar lesson."
Yep, yep,
And
yep.
it's as simple as that, man.
It'd be interesting if we could get one of our clients, right? Take one of them,
Sure.
And just see if any of them are willing to put up some money for marketing, because obviously you're not going to pay for the marketing, but they okay, I'll give you X amount of money to do a marketing campaign just
Sure
to
thing.
see how it goes for them. And then come back and we'll do another interview and sort of review the results and see
Sure.
how well it goes. So I'll throw it out there and see if anyone's up for it. If anyone wants to put some money up for marketing, and we can see how it goes, because
$250. That's all they need, which is peanuts.
Yeah. How much? Sorry, say again.
$250. That's a nice little marketing budget to kick it off.
Brilliant. Excellent.
So
yep.
Yeah, so that'll kick it off, and they'll be able to see at the end of a week, whether it's working or not. But most of the time when it's not working, it's the person answering the telephone.
Right.
So
yeah. So if the calls are people through, if the calls are coming through, we can, let's say,
this is a high quality person searching Google or Bing. They're typing in guitar lesson Los Angeles.
Right. Yeah.
You cannot get, any more hotter prospect than that, and there's not a lot of those calls, out there in the system yet, but there's still a lot, you know what I mean? And like I say, you'll get maybe 1 or 3 a day from Google,
But
I'd rather be getting the population, the region that you're in, those sorts of things. Totally. And also, Google's hasn't really pushed this hard out there yet. Bing is starting to, but Google hasn't really hammered it out there yet. It's sort of one of their new deals that sort of come along in the last 18 months or so, I guess, 12, 18 months.
Cool. That's great.
We were doing it. Website rentals. We were doing this from SEO because I like to rank my own websites. I don't have to deal with the business owner, so it might be a dentist, get a free teeth whitening or whatever, or a chiropractor, deal, and we'll sell the leads or sell the phone calls to the business owner. And SEO is very frustrating because it takes time in that, and that's where we came across pay per call. And we track it all and all those sorts of things.
So you held the website. Basically, it was the leads come through your website. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
We just want to sell the leads.
Yeah. Because that way you don't have a gatekeeper on the website, because that can often be a problem. I do the same.
Totally.
Yeah, and I allow them to edit their websites if they want to, but in some cases I'll go back to them and say that your website is not. The changes you've made are inconsistent. It doesn't, it's not helping your cause, and so I recommend you take it back to the original template to get it right. So
cool. Yeah, so that is helpful,
okay.
And cool. And you can do the same thing from Facebook as well. It's a little bit different because Facebook is more interruption marketing. Like when somebody sits down at Google, they're specifically like guitar lesson Houston, learn guitar lessons, or guitar teacher, city area. That's a very specific intent and mode that I'm in. I'm not sitting down on Facebook looking at cat videos and laughing with my friends and stuff, and then all of a sudden a guitar lesson advert appears. That's interruption marketing. So that's what Facebook is.
Like TV, right?
Like
you're watching
TV,
a show and bang, something comes in the middle. Yeah.
That's it. Totally unrelated. You could be watching a comedy and here they are selling dishwashing liquid. Like there's no no sort of segue or matching or anything like that. It's just interruption marketing. So that's what you're paying for on Facebook. But if you do it well, the targeting of that interruption marketing, like your USP. So I'm targeting 15 to 18-year-old kids. I know most of my students, 70% of them are male. Things like that. You can start to put into your data picture as you create your advertisement in Facebook, and that helps. And then where are those kids hitting out? You want to target their interest around music, or those adults if you specialize in teaching adults, they're going to be hanging around certain groups, and that's where you want to target carefully, so that when you do interrupt them, that it's somebody who truly is interested in it, not just somebody living in Los Angeles or somebody living in a region. Not everybody wants to take guitar lessons right at this moment. So
and you've got those two markets, right? You've got those people like me. I rarely, if ever, respond to a Facebook ad. I'm not interested in the ads on Facebook. But I will go to Google, and when I search for things, I will look at the ads to see whether or not they look like they're answering my question. There's definitely different markers, and there's other people who don't spend much time searching on Google, or they just completely ignore Google ads. But on Facebook, they're clicking ads all day long.
Totally. And
different types.
Well, this is where, a good little budget, again, couple of $250 a month on Google and $250 a month on Facebook can go a long way. And then the offer, that's really, really important. On Google, you don't need to be so hardcore with the offer. Because
let's talk about offers for a minute, because the one you came up with before of course, is a great one. Guarantees, and that's something Jay talked a lot about, right? Giving people money back guarantees, taking the risk away. So what are some ideas or suggestions you have in that area?
Again, to make it irresistible to try you out. Like, you need to overcome that initial barrier, and it doesn't matter, like we were talking about all those famous guitarists and that before. I bet we could sit down with a group of friends and someone's going to say, Hendrix sucks and this person's better and Clapton sucks and this. Like, we've all got these opinions of what we think, is a great person and teacher, and that, dictates so much, and forms a barrier. So we want to remove that barrier in a way that is irresistible to try out. Doesn't matter who the guitar teacher is or the guitarist or anything like that. Try and remove the barriers that and this is where, again, having your USP and knowing your marketplace. So if you're appealing to teenagers, what are their barriers to coming along, to your classes?
So all the resistance, all those points of resistance, how do we get to remove
through
them?
those? And that's what the offer should speak about. Like, I'm not sure with advertising to teenagers, but I'm sure cost of classes, after school, all those sorts of things are going to come into play. And then obviously you're competing against other interests that they have, but I think across the board, something generic is you can't beat like a free trial of some sort. Come along and have a free class, a free lesson. We
often do like open days where we sort of say, okay,
open days are fantastic.
Because we found that they're having the event, you see this on Facebook. There's something about an event. You can say free lessons, but if you say free lessons on this day, people seem to say, well, I better come on it. It's just that we get a much better response. It's like, we know this with offers, and I'm sure you can relate to this when you run an offer where you say 48 hours or it's gone. Either you buy now or it's finished. Well, if you just run that offer all the time, you actually get less response than if you
get the blindness.
Cool.
And people don't appreciate it either, your time. So you do got to be careful, but I love open days. A lot of fitness people that I work with do the open day as well, and that's where they'll do a trial as well.
Yeah.
You know, and then think about the package, you know, deal, the way you package things up, you know, that's the other important part. It's good to have a great offer at the front end, the open day, but then, you know, get them to stick.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's an important key there. But besides, you know, the offer, you know, like the picture that you can potentially put with a Facebook advertisement is very, very powerful as well. You know, so really choose the image carefully, you know, that you're wanting to put there.
Yeah.
A lot of people just grab stock photos and stuff that, you know, or a big headshot of themselves or something like that. You know, it's just not going to fly a lot
So
of the time.
you don't want grandma there with the guitar if you're trying to appeal to teenagers, right?
Exactly. Back to that one. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So if you can get somebody to come in and take a photo of you running your class, you know, so that I can see, you know, like here I am. I'm not going to be by myself and feel awkward by myself or whatever it is, you know, like if you know that's you know, teenagers don't like to be by themselves with somebody. If they're in a little group and, you know, it looks fun and interesting, well, yeah,
Yeah.
hey, this learning the guitar may be something cool to do, you know, and not so scary sort of thing. Or if it's a parent, you know, you got to think, you know, if you're a parent, you don't want, you know, your teenage daughter or son being locked away in some room with some, you know, person that you don't really know well, you know.
Yep.
So you
Some
remove.
potential weirdo. Yeah.
Exactly. So you remove all those sort of barriers and that. So that's the key. Remove barriers. Have an interesting offer that makes people want to call or contact you, and it, you know, paints that picture. A picture does say 1,000 words. So really choose carefully your picture so that it's congruent with the offer and it lets people have a sneak peek.
That was the word that stuck with me with your seminar, was congruent, and
Yes.
how you know, and I was guilty of it, or still am guilty of it to a degree, and you know, I think we're always guilty of it to some degree, but it's the degree to which we're guilty, and that is, does the ad match the website? You know,
Yeah.
people click on the ad and then they go to the website. You know, the ad's got some cool guy rocking, and they go to the website and it's got grandma sitting there with a
Totally.
guitar, like. And that, you know, I'm exaggerating there, but that happens all the time, and that was something that you know, I know all the other guys that were there at the seminar we talked about, was a big takeaway with you, and how you were very you know, almost pedantic on that point. So is that something you obviously see a lot, right?
Totally. I mean, fitness trainers, you know, and people like yourself, guitar teachers, you know, and consultants, you know, people that are offering a professional service. They're usually one person or a small business, you know, offering, you know, not taking advantage of what you offer, you know, like when people think of, like, say, a fitness trainer and they see some sort of fancy gym, or they think, I'm crammed in with a bunch of classes, but, you know, and people, but really you're a boutique operation that can give, you know, not complete, but more individual service. And that's something that's appealing to a lot of people right now. So
Mm.
same with your classes, you know, like think, you know, like if you've got 3 or 4 students, or there's half a dozen, you know, it takes away some fear factor that I'm the only person, through to, you know, whatever else it is, you know. And now you can add video. I know video can be added into Facebook adverts as well.
Yep.
So, you
And
know,
they're cheap
shoot a
too.
little video.
They're cheap.
They're cheap. They are cheap. YouTube's another great place, you know, for video ads. So shoot, you know, like, you know, the fun aspects of your class, and not just, yeah, some stock photos. Like, show off what it is that you do, be proud, and again, come back to that unique selling proposition, what it is that you do and how you help people, and feature that. Because look,
Brilliant.
it'll take you maybe a little while to experiment, but and get feedback, and try and get professional feedback rather than friends and family, you know. Speak your
Yep.
day, and
Because
that, you
we've
know.
been there, right? We we've taken the long road in many respects. If I could go
Exactly.
back to when I started, you know, I'd do things very differently. I wish that I had, someone like you with your knowledge that you have today with me when I was 25, that I would have got there a lot quicker, a lot less mistakes, a lot less heartache. And I think that's what we see all the time. These guitar teachers, entrepreneurs who are. I'll give you one quick example. One of my teachers in the UK, he's looking for a commercial property at the moment, right? Because his business is going really well, and he now needs to take it out of his home because he's got too many students and move it into a commercial premise. And he said, I can't believe it, but he said, because he's been looking for a few months now, he said, this strip where, the main area of his town, he said, at least 50% of these businesses were set up in the last 12 months. And he said, in other words, the businesses that were here previously all went bankrupt. They've all turned over. And he said, I can't believe how many businesses are going bankrupt. And that kind of makes me a bit nervous. And I said, don't be nervous, because what that tells you is how few people actually get business advice and get help. What they do, it's like jumping into the deep end of a pool without ever learning to swim.
Yeah.
Most of them are drowning.
Or at least doggy paddle, right?
Exactly. At least know how to sort of keep yourself up. So they're sort of jumping in the deep end when what they really should be doing is testing their idea on in the shallow first, getting to sort of learn some skills and getting some advice and help, so that they don't drown in the deep end. And so I said, don't worry about that, because I'm here. You already know how to swim, dude. You've got 60 odd students. You're fine. You even 20 of those students will pay you rent. And the other, you're already making profit. Very few of these businesses walk into their establishments making a profit. They go in borrowing a lot of money, expecting customers to just come banging on their door. So
they do.
Yeah.
And
so yeah. Sorry.
I was just going to say, it's that excitement that we all get into with a business idea, but again, hopefully people that are in your G4 school and tuning in and listening, or they're not, and they're watching this and thinking about it, that they come on board with you and seek out good advice, and you work with a lot of good professionals, so you can steer them in the right direction. And that's the key is, professionals helping professionals, and if you want to be a professional guitar teacher and get paid for it, you've got to surround yourself with other professionals in that industry and people that are really truly doing it and understand you, like you're saying that, you got to have 20 students paying you this amount to pay your rent. You need another 20 to cover this. And you can break those down into milestones and learn it and understand it. And it's specific, it's not you're a small business owner, you're a guitar teacher, and this is specific information to help you grow this type of business, which is rare as hen's teeth these days, that sort of information. And whatever you're doing, get a hold of it. That's what you want.
Yep. Find the people in your industry that have done it or are doing it, and that's really what we've done. Is that both you and I, and I'll make this point, is that I met you not through a Jay Abraham seminar. I saw you at another seminar in Thailand, and was impressed by the information you provided. So then I went to your seminar in Japan, and so but we had both been to Jay Abraham, and we'd both sort of learn a lot from him, which was able to bring us both forward in our careers. And without that information, we would still be flopping around in the shallow end, trying to work out how to get things done.
Totally. And there's lots of people that influence, like you mentioned, Tony Robbins. I mean, he's a huge influence. I still love Jim Rohn, who taught Anthony and got Anthony started in the self-improvement business. There's self-improvement, self-development's important as a business owner. There's lots of gurus and entrepreneurs out there in that, but I think there's nothing better than joining up your local chamber of commerce or Rotary Club, where you can mix with other fellow business owners, because there's a lot of dead set legends, as we like to call them in Australia, just in your own local, or meetup.com, you know, is another great place. You know, there's a lot of great people just in your own local area who are running successful businesses. You know,
Yep, they're killing it. There's people, in every, doesn't matter where you go, you'll come across someone who's killing
somebody
it.
might be a ballet teacher, very good ballet teacher, and you could get some ideas from them to help grow your guitar business, you know, and then vice versa. You could be very successful as a guitar teacher and you help somebody else, and that giving and sharing is, I think, huge, because you know, so much business truly can come locally to you if you tune into your local community as well. And that's what we tend to isolate ourselves as business owners, you know, lock ourselves away in our studio or our shop or our office, whatever it is that we work from. And we just look after the people coming through our door, and then that's it. You know, as soon as that door closes and we're finished, we run off. Instead of going and doing a little bit of socializing with some other local business owners and getting to know them in your community, because man, you know, word of mouth is still a very, very powerful form of advertising. But you've got to network. You've got to reach out and go to that meeting, you know, and hang out with those other business owners. But like I say, the payoff is that you can meet other successful people in other areas that, you know, somebody is running a successful advertisement for their ballet school, and you can go, wow, that's a really cool offer. I'm going to put a little twist, you know, on this and run it, you know, for my guitar school.
Because it really is, isn't it? It's really a collection of ideas. I think any business, you're just going to build up these ideas. A lot of them don't go anywhere. A lot of them, you know, they might teach you something, but they don't actually add any value to your business. But then there are all those ideas which do add value.
Totally.
And, you just keep building on. I know, you know, with someone like Jeff Bezos, you know, Amazon, he talks about how that the most successful businesses, or you know, in his case, what's made him very successful is experiments, lots and lots and lots of experiments. They keep trying different things. He's always looking at other industries, looking what, you know, they're doing and bringing it in. And if we look at today, you know, some of the most successful businesses today, I think Jay really saw all this coming. It was probably already there, but he saw it coming anyway, in the sense that he, you know, as you know, he talks about sort of the, you know, crossing, getting from other industries. One of the things that he does at his seminars is moves you around the tables, right? I don't know if you experienced that, but he gets everybody to move around, so you're sitting with different people in every break. So you get to meet lots of different people. You don't just get stuck into that same little group of people you met on the first day when you walked in. And in far as in industries, if you look at today, look at, say, a company like Uber, which have transformed the taxi industry. That's something the taxi industry could have done themselves, but it took technology guys like Uber to come along and uproot them and disrupt them. And you know, it's same with Steve Jobs and iTunes, you know, upsetting the music industry. This is, you've got to get out of your own space and your own room and get out there and start. Otherwise, someone's going to come and disrupt you if you just stay where you are. Yeah. It's only a matter of time.
And the big thing I've discovered, Dave, you know, like each local community, each local city, each local area, it truly is unique. You can have these broad spread sort of, you know, cool J. Abraham things, Dan Kennedy, you know, like J. Conrad Levinson, Ted Nicholas. Like, we can name off all these gurus and their amazing advice, but when you actually come and test it in a local area, sometimes it doesn't work. And this is where, you know, you've got to get to know a local area really, really well. And, you know, that's the advantage that I found, getting to know your local people, because that's what I've discovered working with, you know, hundreds of real small business owners. An advertisement that we run for an industry in San Diego may not necessarily work for the same exact industry 3-hour drive away in Los Angeles or San Francisco. Like, I'm not talking different coasts, like say San Diego, and run the advertisement in Boston. Just the same advertisement, run it in Los Angeles, doesn't fly. Yet that same advertisement running in San Diego the phone rings all day long. So that's really, really, really important. Why to mix, in your local area, because you're going to discover the intricacies and the nuances of that local marketplace and what makes people tick and do things.
Totally.
So this big, broad information that we've shared and all the gurus shared is awesome, but I think tuning into your local marketplace, meetup.com, Rotary clubs, your local chamber of commerce, any other sort of local networking events with other business owners is just absolutely critical these days.
Because we're going to wrap up now, but this conversation today has been packed with great tips and information, but that one there I think is one that I want the viewers to remember, and that is to remember to really hook into your local area, because it is unique. Your area, you could take, like you say, two areas and they could seem pretty identical on the surface, but one area, for instance, could have, in our case, in the guitar teaching business, could have a couple of schools in that area, right? Which make all the difference, because it brings in people, even though demographically there's the same amount of children living in that area, because we teach a lot of kids. If the schools are in that area, or there's a shopping center, or there's some other thing that's attracting people into that area, then think of it in terms of tourism. You wouldn't go and set up a tourist facility in a place where no one actually goes to and has holidays. So really getting to know, and like you say, getting to know other business owners, especially ones who are serving a similar audience to you, maybe a different business but same demographic. They're really going to be the ones that you want to make friends with, because they're going to say, hey, don't do that.
Every successful business owner you want to go know in your local area. Doesn't matter if he's a hairdresser, doesn't matter, they're a butcher, a baker. You want to know them all, shake their hands, get to know them on a first name basis. It really, really is an important thing to do, I feel, if you're wanting to be good in a local community area. And I guarantee you it will come back to you. I guarantee people will call you and say, I was speaking to John and he said you're the guy to call. Like, if you put the effort in, and I've done it with a personal fitness training client, and over the last 90 days, he's gone from 0 word of mouth to, not every day, but every other day now, somebody calls and says, you're the guy to speak to get fitness lessons from. I'd like to join your group classes. From other fellow business owners,
I can relate to that.
Very powerful.
Yeah, that's basically what I spent most of my career doing, was building local music schools. And it really does come down. You've got to get to know the people in the community, the other businesses. In my case, you had to even know the school teachers, the local schools, the principals, parent associations. And the more you did that, and I can even say that I only probably scratched the surface of a lot of that, and it made a huge difference. If I really went all out, because I had plenty of students, there was no shortage coming in the door, but there's and again, come back to the whole idea of 80-20 on that, and to look for where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. So talking to the right people, getting to know who the movers and shakers, because in any area, as you get to know the network, and this is about what you're saying, learning and understanding and knowing the network, then you learn where the hubs are. You learn who are the movers and shakers in the area. And so then you know who to talk to, and who to to try and build connections with, and create allies. And it all fits in together, doesn't it? It's not unlike politics. It's very much about building relationships with people.
Totally. And I'm sure, there's somebody out there that you could potentially then say, get to know and then joint venture with. Another local small business, and everybody would think, music shop, if you're a guitar teacher, well, that's the obvious one, you know what I mean? But, what else? Who else could you, joint venture with that's potentially got an email list or a mailing list, and, that you could mail out to? Like you mentioned, Parents and Teachers Association. They often have a newsletter and they want people to advertise in it. There's just so many opportunities will come your way to speak then to your local audience, which is the key of it all then.
Exactly. Fantastic. JB, this has been huge.
My pleasure, buddy. My pleasure.
I've got to watch this back just to absorb it myself. So we're just going to wrap up, but a couple of quick questions just to finish. Are there any books or websites or blogs or anything you recommend people check out?
I love YouTube at the moment, mainly Lewis Howe's interviews when I got a chance to have any free time. Lewis Howe's.
Lewis Howe, how are you spelling that? Lewis?
Lewishowes. Excellent.
Lewis Howe's. I'm going to check that out.
And what's brilliant interviews. There's one in particular that he does with Mel Robbins, a lady called Mel Robbins, and she has this 5-second rule.
I know Mel. Yeah, 5-second rule.
Yeah. I highly recommend that. But I love Lewis. I've been watching a lot of his interviews from Carrie-Anne Moss, who was on The Matrix. He's interviewed, celebrities through to marketing, business people. It's just tremendous to see insights into other successful people's attitudes, beliefs, and that. So when I've got some spare time, that's who I try and tune into now, because he does ask good questions rather than it's just a promotional session for somebody's book or a promotional sort of style thing for something. There's a lot of
questions that you want to ask. And I think that's important, is that when you're interviewing, that's something that I always try and think about, is that what do people want to know, not what do I want to promote, what do people want to know. And so this is why this is very, as you've seen here for the last, hour and 15, there hasn't been really much self-promotion. A few little things in there, but we've been talking about, what to do, and asking questions, which is brilliant. Yeah.
So that's my big one there, buddy.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Mel. It's funny because Mel Robbins is huge at the moment. She seems to have gone viral. She's great though. She's really switched on it. And I think what's refreshing about her, well, we're on to her because I'll check out Lewis Howe as well. But yeah, what I found refreshing about her is that she gives it straight, that it's not all easy. Business is not all a walk in the park.
Totally.
I think she makes that thing about you don't want to do things. You'd rather sit on the lounge and eat your corn chips and watch TV. But exactly. That's not going to get you anywhere.
It is. So. And look, besides Lewis, Ryan Holiday, I recommend any of his books.
Growth Hacker I'm reading at the moment.
Yeah, Ryan.
Ryan's great.
And another guy who first interviewed Mel, Tom Bailiu, I think it is. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but I know it's spelled Tom as in Tom, and then his last name Bilyu. He's got some brilliant stuff as well going on. I mean, there's always my old favorites like Tim Ferriss and that I always keep an eye on.
Tim's great.
I like to see what Tim's up to. But
have you read his latest book?
I haven't seen The Titans because I've been getting into Lewis. I've been really digging the interviews. Very few people genuinely do interviews, with big name people very well. They tend to be the same old fluffy duck stuff that they talk about and that, and you get some really interesting insights into some very famous people, like I say, Carrie-Anne Moss from The Matrix. I mean, she's one trippy lady and in on a real spiritual quest that you just wouldn't think from somebody that's in Hollywood, so to speak. So he really, really brings another side, and that's what you want to see, that those other things that make people tick. It's the last 3-4 months that I've sort of been checking it out, it's got me back into doing some things that I haven't done for a long time, like guided meditation and and other activities, man, that I used to do in my 20s a lot, but gave up for whatever reasons or stopped doing.
So it's motivating, inspiring, and that's what you want. Yeah,
totally. What's that last question, buddy?
Okay, so one more question for you. What's next? What's next for JB?
What's next?
James Brown.
Oh man, just keep on helping small business owners. I know how tough it is because I go through tough times, like every business does. Anyone that tells you, that they don't is either a liar or a fool. You know what I mean? Every business has cycles. Just like there's night and day, we know it's going to happen. Just like we know there's winter and summer, businesses go through cycles and seasons. I love helping small business owners. That's where it's at, and
that's for you.
Helping them, conquer their fear of the internet or whatever their fear is, starting their business or whatever it is, conquering that and enjoying a great life. Be it they earn $100 grand a year or they earn, they become a billionaire like Jeff Bezos, well, he's now 80 billion or whatever it is.
He's gone into number two spot, hasn't he? He's number 2 now, I think.
He is. But that's a company that started in a garage,
Exactly.
Google started in a garage. Apple started in a garage. So don't let humble beginnings, throw ideas to the ground or make you want to walk away, anything like that. Humble beginnings and tuning in with like-minded, successful people, is the way to do it, man. It truly is.
Absolutely, absolutely.
More work with small business owners, buddy.
Well, I totally get it, and that sort of sums up really what you have been, because you walk your talk. I think that's a big thing with you, JB, is that, and again with the guys that I know that know you, we sort of share that fact that you walk your talk. You don't say one thing and do another. So you've said all along that your main focus and your passion is working with small businesses. I know that you get approached by corporations. I know that you obviously that comes to your door, but you know that that's not going to bring you any joy, because I think there's a point we all get to in business. I know that I'm at that point where we get to decide what we do. We don't have to do anything in particular. We can choose what kind of clients we work with. We still have to do things, but we for the most part, 80-90%, we get to choose what we do. Yeah.
We do, but look, at the same time, you got to stick to your guns. Like, there's times where I get the offers of the corporate gigs and I turn them down, and my wife looks at me like saying, that's easy money, and you're not doing anything at the moment elsewhere. You're not bringing in any other consulting clients. Why are you being a fool?
Throwing it away. You're throwing away the money.
This is where you got it. Well, this is where you got to stick to your unique selling proposition.
Yeah.
And where you've also got to stick to your guns of what you believe personally and spiritually and mentally, and that. Otherwise, you're just going to run yourself around in circles, chasing the almighty dollar. And at the end of the day, man, it's time. You can make more money.
Yep.
But you can't get
quality time, right? Quality time.
You want to know that
back. Yeah, you've spent that time well. I've got to wrap up, JB. Absolutely fantastic.
Dave.
Thank you so much. And it just, again, on the end here, if anyone wants to contact you, how can they get you?
Mate, the best is head on over to smallbusinessacceleratorlab.com. They can hit the contact form there.
I'll put that link below this video, by the way. If anyone wants to find it, it'll be at the bottom of this video.
Yeah, head on over there. Otherwise, contact Dave. And if you're a G4 guitar teacher, I'm happy to throw you a free month of access to Small Business Accelerator Lab. Brilliant. That's normally $100 a month. It's a brilliant program, and you'll get to see the ins and outs of not just how to run a good program, a good school or coaching program and that, but look at a lot of other successful business owners, what they do, and that's the key. You can learn from others. So come and grab a month, contact Dave. Dave can hook you up with me, and that's super easy. Otherwise, just head on over to smallbusinessacceleratorlab.com, hit the contact form, and I'll be in touch with you pronto.
Brilliant. Thanks again, JB, James Brown, for the record. It's signing off here, David Hart. Thanks again for your time.
Appreciate you, man. You have a great day.
You too.